We bring in now Senator Lindsey Graham from the great state of South Carolina. Senator, you were extremely outspoken today about what was happening in Washington versus what we now see unfolding live at this very moment, which is Kim Jong-un, President Trump, now negotiating the denuclearization of the entire peninsula. Thoughts?
It was disrespectful to President Trump. It undercut our foreign policy. I talked to President Trump last night. He didn't appreciate very much having this hearing while he's trying to get the North Koreans to give up their nuclear arsenal. I can only imagine if we'd pulled this stunt, what would be happening to us on every major network in the country. So I'm very disappointed.
Senator, if I may, if I can, there is, so Kim Jong-un and the president, they spent about, 34 minutes or 30-some-odd minutes alone together. As Ed Henry just told us moments ago, that they're now going to bring in, Ed, their teams.
Yeah, these are their interpreters walking with them. This is the pool at the historic Metropole Hotel. And they are going to be walking over to the expanded group. And there they are, as we said earlier.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo
and his counterpart on the North Korean side. We expect maybe someone like Mick Mulvaney, John Bolton, who we saw waiting just off stage left there a moment ago, might join as well. So they're all just about almost on time. They were talking about 9:45 a.m. local time here, 9:45 p.m. Eastern back home, that they would be having what they call an expanded bilateral meeting with the top
I don't know pictures if you can interpret it, but a lot of smiles, a lot of personality. Look, you can see Kim Jong-un seems very relaxed. It's very cordial.
The president
friendly.
said a few moments ago when reporters were there, I wonder if Chairman Kim is willing to say what he said to us at dinner last night. I'm going to let him decide whether he's going to say it publicly. He didn't quite get there. He just said something very general, Chairman Kim, about how he expects positive results. But you can clearly read that President Trump, and you'll have a chance in the interview to ask him, suggested that at dinner last night, Chairman Kim went much further in private than he has in public.
A lot of times, Dan Bongino, a lot of these things, as you can see, they're now walking in with the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and his counterpart from North Korea. Oftentimes, there are predetermined outcomes,
sure,
not necessarily here, except for maybe ending the Korean War.
Yeah, matter of fact, most of the time, bottom-up diplomacy is exactly how it occurs. You have your lower-level bureaucrats lay out the groundwork for a meeting before it ever gets to the level of president. He's taking it in a different direction. He said, we're going to handle this from the top.
Let me go back to Senator Lindsey Graham back in Washington. It's so deep and it's so profound, Senator, the potential that what can happen here.
Right.
Look, I'm not Pollyannish. We know that we've got to have, this has got to be a verified deal. There's got to be open access and inspections on demand, or else it's not going to work for anybody.
Right.
But it's important.
Well, the question is, why are we having this meeting? I mean, why is Trump meeting with North Korea when North Korea wouldn't meet with anybody else? I think President Trump rattled North Korea. I think they believe that President Trump would use military force to stop their nuclear missile program if he had to. He took them seriously, and Trump's giving them a way out. Chairman Kim, if you're smart, you'll take the way out given to you by President Trump. If you're actually trying to play the guy, you're going to regret this effort.
It's so funny. I mentioned having known the president for over 2 decades, I have some insight into his thinking. In my personal opinion, this is just purely speculation, that we were likely just 1, 2, 3 rockets away from the United States taking that out of the air and a major escalation.
Okay, I talked to President Trump about a couple hours ago, right before he went to meet with the North Korean leader. I talked to him all last year. The fire and fury rhetoric was sincere. The North Koreans believed that if they fired another missile, they were going to get attacked. They were going to get attacked. And here's what I would say. The president's giving them a chance to maintain their security, increase their prosperity, and in return, he wants them to give up their nukes. This is the last best chance for peace. If this doesn't work, we're not going back to the status quo. So everybody in America and the world should pray for a good outcome here. But the reason that Kim is at the table, he believes that Trump is hell-bent on stopping him one way or the other, and the best way is a win-win.
So there's always the expectations, and Dan Bongino, I thought, brought up a good point. When Reagan walked away from the table at Reykjavik, And yet, the media went insane. When Reagan talked about the evil empire, they went insane. When Bush talked about the axis of evil, they went insane. When he challenged Gorbachev to tear down the wall, there seems to be a pattern. You know, we've been around too long. But there seems to be this pattern, and that is that the Democrats feel, and it's just, I find it Neville Chamberlain-ish and Pollyannish and naive and frankly dangerous, that somehow if they bribe dictators and the world's despots, Bill Clinton tried it with Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, and we know that Obama tried it with the mullahs in Iran. Oh, if we give you $150 billion in cash and other currencies, maybe you'll like us? No, they're still chanting death to America and threatening to annihilate Israel and wipe it off the map. But strength seems to get their attention. And I believe that you're right. The president absolutely was believable in the hearts and minds of the North Koreans and Kim Jong-un.
All I can tell you is if Susan Rice gives you some advice, Mr. President, don't take it. The Iran deal has not worked out well for everybody in the
Everybody here is laughing. That's really good.
Well, so the bottom line is if a guy's threatened to cut your throat, don't buy him a knife. John Kerry walked through glass to get a crappy deal with Iran. Trump is smart enough to get out of that deal. And he says, I'm not in a hurry. I want a good deal. I want a real deal. A real deal with North Korea is they give up their nukes. We end the Korean War, and we have peace and prosperity for everybody on the peninsula. A bad deal is to continue for North Korea to build up their nuclear forces, and Trump's not going to let that. He's called the question.
Hey, you want to make the media's head spin? You really want the hate Trump mob to go insane right now?
It's not that hard.
I haven't. Now, Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize for nothing, just for showing up.
For not being Bush.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So imagine, let's hope for the best. I thought liberals imagined a world without nukes. All right, how about a world with fewer nukes to start? Imagine they get this deal done and it's verifiable, on-demand inspections, and imagine it's done. Are they going to have to now melt down? People may actually have real heart attacks if somebody says, if it happens, maybe Trump gets the Nobel Peace Prize.
A world in which
would be a good thing for the world and our kids.
A world in which Donald Trump gets the Nobel Peace Prize is probably more dangerous in the eyes of the liberals than North Korea having nukes. But the point is that he's on the verge of a breakthrough, I hope, but he is not going to let this go forward the way it's been in the past. Either we're going to have peace or we're eventually going to have a military conflict. I think North Korea realizes that's the two choices they have.
All right, Senator, thank you. I know, and you're right about what happened today. What a dramatic comparison. How shallow, pathetic, and frankly sad. Thank you so much for being with us.